Well, welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, our marathon tech-priced SpaceX Extreme. We are maybe 2/3 of the way through the final research. We have the fusion reactor and the FTL drive still to launch. They're very expensive, but we're deliberately saving them to the end. I am standing next to my revised green circuit in our external build. If you recall, this is our build where we have iron and copper fed directly in from the sides, and then we make the green circuits. It wasn't obvious originally when I redid this, but now if you have a look at it, well, we're hardly using any bots actually, but that's probably because these are full, which might be the case up here as well. Yeah, they're pretty full, but they're using quite a lot more bots to do it. So certainly having such a long distance of carrying the copper cable is what I wanted to avoid, and in contrast to this one, well, all the long rows have direct insert. We don't actually have room for both to have direct insert. I tried to surround these things especially on the copper side, to enable the direct insert, but the problem is we have a limited range of the robo ports. If we had one more tile, it would be fine, but we don't have that extra tile to play with. And then we get into issues of whether we get full beacon coverage to all of these things, and whether we need a red inserter for one of the inserters into the green circuits, and then it's insufficient insertion. Actually, speaking of insufficient insertion, I don't think one inserter for copper cable is enough. What are we doing up here? We have one of copper cable only, but I don't think that's enough. Let me just have a quick review of that, guys. Are we running short of copper cable? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Is this one running constantly? No, it is not. Alright. How about we tell it to also, because it's only a little bit more, we won't do that much. How's this going now? Now it has issues with... Well, that seemed to be better than what we had before. Maybe 50's too much. 30. If you have a look at how these two are running, 11.592, 11.4. I think it's running slightly better than that one. This is only because that's... why do I have two sets of... And why do I have that going as far as that? I don't actually need that open that much. And this should not be two sets, it should only be one. There, that's a mistake from the way I was putting those on, I think. That's okay. How many can these actually take? A lot more than 30,000, obviously. So Yeah, we only need like 800 in each one of these. And the same sort of thing down here. We don't need all of these extras. I want to copy this to my others because I am going to claim that there are less bots involved in this. It certainly looks like there should be. I'm not exactly sure whether I would be better off with, you know, wide right up close to where we're feeding, or wide like this, and how I work this. So I could have those gaps here, and that probably would work better, but I'm running out of time, so I just want to get something up there and done. Okay, so that's sorted out that issue. Now the other issue is these things. What's that one? That's the same one. Okay, so what I want to do is basically copy that. Let's do that. And I won't run through the train this time because we know how much fun that is for others, but not so much for me. These should be round the other way for sure, but again, running out of time. So now that is green circuits. The other thing I want to show you, F5. Look at this, guys. I wanted it below 0.10 for my 500 trains. Now, it's not always below 0.10, but on average, I think the average basically is. What have I done? Basically, I have changed how the handling of the train counter works when trains enter and exit. Well, called from a, they're sitting at a supply station and they get called. That immediately triggers the train counter to update rather than as regular an on-nth tick. And that has given us the improved efficiency. It also has meant that we're not getting duplication. Like what was happening before sometimes was if the timing on the on-nth tick was too slow, the train waiting there would immediately get added back into this. So that's how we were getting some things that were seemingly not vanishing. At least I think that's how it was working. So we've got an O there. Is that a valid O at this point, or am I still incorrect? There is a train here. 3997. That is the one that is supposed to be there. Crude oil Southwest is the one that is supposed to be there. What actually was the request? To 3. Go to 3. Well, that's not enabled. There might be some. I've only just done that update, which I actually tested on a different version that involves some other changes, but we'll see if it sorts itself out over time. It might still be an issue, it might not. But I think I want to make this with its, what are we talking about, 180 perhaps, 170 bots versus this one with its well, we're only doing 180, but we don't actually have any real demand in there at the moment, although I mean there's a lot of machines up here that are silent. It's only the ones at the front that are busy, unlike down here where it's actively supplying a train and pretty much, no, not everything's busy. might have too many of these for our ability to fill the trains. But yeah, when a train's not there, it actually slows down really fast. So I'm convinced that it must be better. We just need to go ahead and implement it. There you go, that's the one. So if I come up to here, for example, I should have already, I have locked those off. What I want to do is basically tell this no more iron, copper rather. So that this collection of 176 copper cable can exhaust, and then I can do my maintenance. So I will do this. What I might do is pause the recording when in fact, I'm going to go up and down the whole stack, but I'll pause the recording and perhaps rejoin you when we are done or finishing off or something like that. But I just wanted to show you the impact we've had on train pub sub. So that's great, and hopefully things in here like the O and any oddities we have gotten on top of. I do also have some debug commands to help me visualize all of this, if so I can see what's actually going on in the matching process. So there's that as well. Anyway, I will see you soon. This is because I've got the production screen and the map view up. UPS is down a bit, but we'll put it away shortly. I just thought you might like to see the iron ore over 500k, green circuits over 300k. These guys more or less behaving themselves. We still have those good numbers over a minute. The science where we need it, 53,000 red circuits, 11k green these are green, aren't they? No. Blue circuits, processing units, and we're getting quite close on faster than light propulsion systems. Now, what have we been up to? Well, I've been doing quite a lot of testing. We've been through, I think we did I do this online? I'm not even sure anymore, but I've revamped the green circuits. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense seemingly in this shape. The fatter end probably should be closer down here, but it's getting delivered copper from up here, so the copper to the cable machines, it's closest to just go straight here. So I thought having the bulk close to that, and these are all direct insert now rather than transporting copper around. So I think the numbers of bots in the air for this is quite a bit less. Likewise along here, we're looking at cable feeding directly into green circuits, but the second row is cable in the air for a short distance. So we've done green circuits. I also did a revamp to steel. There's now 2 lines because this particular direct feed of iron into the steel does not allow for a 3rd row. It's just out of the, as you can see, there's not enough room to have a box up here because we've lost a space there and a space there. So probably more efficient in that we don't have bots transporting iron plate anywhere. Both rows are working like that, and down here as well. This is producing as much as the previous one. It's a little bit shorter, and we've removed bots from transporting across. So these things probably are helping. You can see we've got a little bit more UPS now that we're not looking at where the trains are. Actually, speaking of which, let's have a quick look. Pub sub under 100. That's where we wanted it, remember? Train's insane. That's not where we want it. But there's not a lot we can do about it, as it happens, and unfortunately. Circuit network 0.38. There is one bit of circuit network that I haven't actually looked at, which is I actually put in all of these combinators. Where are they? Here. And here, and here, and here, and here. And these aren't really hooked up and doing anything, but the mere fact that they're around might be enough to be causing me trouble. So I mean, you can even see they've got the wrong stuff on them because I never really used them. So I'm just wondering if I ripped out all those combinators, whether that would actually help, because they're not doing anything useful. All the control we've got is basically this, just saying don't apply more if we already have enough, versus our settings down here. That's it. The rest of this was supposed to be some sort of predictive model that I decided A, was hard to do, and B, it was not really worth it for such low production that we do through this whole thing. So we're actually down here by where we throw away the wood. Train stop wood unload. I'm going to go to engineering unload as our first step, and I'm going to get rid of those combinators, see what sort of impact the unused combinators, see what sort of impact they have on circuit networks 0.4, because that's just completely wasted. I mean, it's not going to, 0.4 is not going to get game update from 27 to 16, nothing like that, but it can maybe, you know, help a little bit. We certainly don't want to be wasting, and this will actually give me time to pick a set of ingredients, and I think that one will be fine. Let's fill up on basic train stuff. Here come our army of bots. And I've got all those. I have those guys. So what are most of these actually, I could just make them decider combinators and arithmetics, but I think they're mainly arithmetics from the looks of things. So if we open up this fellow, and just, well, I could just do that, couldn't I? And decider combinators. Then hopefully this is not going to break everything, but I am actually going to do this. Pointless combinators are completely pointless. I think I probably need that one there, but the rest of those are pointless. There we go. Reduction in combinators. Now, F5. Not much. Well, they weren't actually hooked up on the whole, so it hasn't actually done that much. Unless, you know, combinators elsewhere have sort of taken off. It's a little bit hard, though, to be sure. It certainly hasn't made it worse. Hasn't made it, and now it looks like it's climbing. Oh well. Oh, that's this, actually. That'll be this thing. There's combinators at work here. So that's forced the uptick. I'd have to really check when that ticks off, but that would be mainly what's happening. Anyway, it's not hurting not having those, I'm pretty sure. So with that said, let's have a look where we're up to. It looks like we've filled up. I do have a bit of a plan for this time. We are going to need lots of circuits, which means Circuit Alley is going to continue to get hammered. What I'm thinking is, as far as is possible, I would like to create basically 2 more lanes down here. Probably to, well, ideally just past this thing. Maybe even all the way down here. 2 more lanes, so you can basically, if you're on this side, these 2 lanes here are only for turning to the left. If you're on this side, you'll have these extra 2 lanes that are only for turning to the right. these two lanes can only be used to cross over, and then you can get out to where you want to go. You can't do it from here. So the middle lanes, or these two, are your only way going up this way that gets you off to the right, and these two are your only way coming down that gets you off to the left, and hopefully that will reduce congestion. So that is my plan. I guess we start, I think this isn't actually too bad, so it's basically here I think we start. From here on down it's quite bad, so let's head to RC1. And see if we can implement this from there. I have no idea whether this will actually help, but I do think that reducing congestion will help us with this number, and will help us with the performance of trains getting to where they need to go in a timely manner. So those two things should help. And, you know, we've got a little bit of time to burn, so we're doing something constructive. I mean, I could, I haven't squished these up in this sort of compressed format, so there is always that. And I think both of them are now basically running constantly and continuously. That's red circuits, this one as well. There's nothing sitting here. We have quite a list. But I think I've been mucking around with setting the setup for this, and I think it's still slightly wrong, which in the respect that when it's fulfilling a request, there are still occasions where it's regenerating that request. So it's taking it's a lot harder to clear this list and actually have things being responsive, or as responsive as they should be, to the list, to the requests. So what do we need? What don't we need? There's a lot of things here that we don't need. I guess we'll just make another collection. I will do that. I might bring that one back, and I'll keep good rail for now as well. I'm not going to need all these chests, I wouldn't think, or miners, or beacons, or speed modules. That might do. Let's grab a little bit more rail, a little bit more signal. We'll try that for starters. So what am I saying? I'm saying that just down here is where we want to start this whole thing. Okay. I'm not sure which direction is the worst. But I guess the idea would be 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 1, 2 here. And although in a way I kind of wanted that really in a lane to only be able to get to this lane, and then this lane to this lane, and so on, but maybe this is what I want. That's alright, I'll use blueprints in a moment. That is kind of slightly awkward, isn't it? But missed that one. And that's not quite where I want it either. So now we can recreate this blueprint. Just to speed us up a little bit. Oh, come on. That's better. Kind of looks like an optical illusion as to whether it really is 2. Strange. At the very least, this will give us you know, 4 lanes through instead of just 2. Though normally my blueprint is twice the size. So here's something that this express lane is not going to be stopped by. And that really is the point right there. Let's just trim a little bit of the foliage. How are we doing for rail? We've got tons. I probably, at this point, I could probably actually drive my, in fact, driving my train onto this would be an excellent idea. I'm just getting further and further away from it for no good reason, so let's run up here, and really I should be laying down a path somewhere here, but never mind. Eight-lane superhighway. In general, I think there's issues. Well, I mean, I don't think you really should want 8 lanes and have, you know, junctions that are addressing all 8 of those lanes. I think that's kind of a little bit wasted. I suspect it is anyway. I'm not sure I've actually ever done it before. Good to get rid of my trees. Thanks very much. Let's come up here. There's a train coming up from here that probably won't wait for me. But after that one, it looks like I'm free to come out. Oh, come on, trains! Seriously? I'm blocking your way. That was seconds after I pulled in and stopped here. Alright. Will just have to be a 3-length train. And hope that this congestion moves shortly. It's not the first time I've actually done that, by the way. Whoop. Okay, after that one we can go. And we will come out here. Well, okay. That's the first issue that I needed to address. Obviously, this line was supposed to also allow you to get up there. So let's do that. obviously going to need some additional sort of signals here. Yeah. Oops. Probably something like that is in order. Grab these two. Do I actually have any? No, I got rid of them all. Oh, well, I've got to use those wagons that I do have on something. So, yes, the idea is that trains will be able to proceed along these extra 2 express lanes, not get slowed down by that kind of stuff. And it won't be until we reach down here, but before we get too carried away, so the thing is, these trains that come out here need some means to get out to here, so we will actually have to give them that from here. Oops, not that direction, this direction. And this is one of those, so I basically want them to come out to this one, and like that, or like that. You two will have to be like that. So will you. I could have actually put these up here, but never mind. You can go like that. You can go like that. And that allows any of them pulling out from any of these intersections to get out into this lane and then pull out into either of these 2 lanes, which is what we wanted. Now let's proceed. Remove this stuff. Another segment. Oh, I didn't signal the other side of this access properly. As in this lead up to this crossover here. So some chains. You can go there, you can go there, that will sort it out. Now, when we get to here, basically this is the way that trains get back out, and this is the way they get back in, but this one needs to be these 2 providing that access, not these 2. That's my little master plan, and then these carry on straight through, which means this is going to be a little bit of a problem. Let me just see how this is going to work. It's kind of not going to work, isn't it? How many places can I put that? Just these 2. Well, if it goes there, it works. That one can go there. Oh, this doesn't actually go through here anymore, because this is going to connect onto this one. At least that is the plan. This segment here is a problem for me, and I'm not sure there's much I can do about it. Without a much longer time frame of investment into this intersection, at least. So you are the way in. We don't actually want you to be a way in, but until we have an alternate, we probably have to. Going straight ahead, you're out of the way. You guys just need signals now. That one's no good just there. Where are you going? Straight ahead. Okay. We can use our rail, blueprint deconstruction plans rather, is what I meant. Whoa. Okay. You're that bit, radio. So that bit needs one, that bit needs one, that bit needs one. Putting signals on something like this is something of a nightmare, to be perfectly frank. But we will manage. Now, instead of this one, I just want it to join up onto these two and then later have it go down. So, let's see if that's even possible from here. It is. That bit comes out. That bit comes out. You don't need to exist anymore. Nor do you. That just seemed to be enough of those. Can we get... No, we cannot. But this one exits to here, so then we have our exit to... Oops, direction. Maybe I'll stamp this down first. I actually want that to be... there. mess. So you need to come down like so. And you need to join there. Something like that. Those two going like that really is a bit of a mess. I think instead of that, we'll do that and remove this monstrosity. Which means that has to change. That. I've already got one of those. We have two of these now. We only need one. Up there is probably better than back there. Still can't get any on that segment. Never mind. Alright. So, for now, that is an adjusted two-way intersection. And that's the sort of thing that we are going to need to do. Let's keep moving. See if we can make enough progress for this thing to make some sense. Probably find all the congestions on the other side now, and I should have done that side first, but never mind. Are we even going to get it done before that's finished? I don't know, but that's longer than it might look. Perfect situation here where we can avoid another entrance, but we are going to have to do something after the exit. Or do we just do something after this coming exit? I don't know. Yeah, so I want this one to branch out. Probably from somewhere like there. So I can access both bits. I'm just waiting to see a train come. I guess they won't yet, though. Not until we have made it sufficiently useful. Right, another one of these intersections. Go back to our model. call it that, which is that. Maybe what I should do is get a copy of that bit. It's only going to be a temporary copy. Don't need that. Don't need to double up on those. So that's what we want to do. We know we are going to disallow those things. And we are going to disallow this bit as well. If I rip out all the signals, I'll probably cause some accidents. So I don't know what I'm going to do about all the signals, but where did I put this one? Right there. We also need to move this guy. And I don't remember if I removed the one at the last intersection, but just in case I want to use, oh gee, my smart trains, I need to wire this back up like so, and find out what I am missing. Probably not a lot, just something here. There. There. Whoops, I've already got one there. Got one there. Don't need one there. That's probably just about it. Yeah. Oh. So that means that these are now normal signals. We can go on. Try not to stay where we are very long. Hopefully we'll get to see this long enough to see if there is any market improvement, because that's the general idea. But I basically want to get to... do I want to get past the silo? Oops, not the map. So this one, which is going to be a little bit harder, because that's really quite a tight turn. And the same, well, this is a mess really too. That should be easy. And then, yeah, probably the silo, and then come back in just after the silo. That's pretty much what we want to do. And I'm out of rail. So let's get a bit more. We might be low on signals as well. A 232 is going to have to do for this job, and we obviously need to do the coming back up the other side as well, but that's okay. We won't try and do all of it this episode. Just continue as far as we can get. I think laying this rail is making the trains work quite a bit harder to work out their pathing and so on. How is this list going? Yeah, it's going great. Still at 500,000. Oh, those are not going quite so great. Let's just. I wonder if having done this exercise has actually caused that problem. Not that there's anything sitting here trying to get out, but that, for example, is trying to go RCU. So it would help if we could get it to the RCUs, which is this next stop just here. And this bit is kind of problematic. Let me just see. It actually looks like it can probably do that bend. So that will be okay then. Alright. That means we need to get rid of these two again. Okay, you're going off that way, that's fine. Except that what you just did is going to be made impossible very shortly. Whoa. Okay, you're probably going somewhere that I don't want you to. So, what do we have here? This one is not great. But otherwise, we're going to need a crossover to come back to allow trains to go down here. Again. Jeez. Okay, so as soon as we did that, that was all one of those trains needed. And a train is using our alternate path. That's very good. That's what we wanted. Yep. So it stands to reason that this should work. In fact, what's trains at? Well, they're still over 5, so let's not ideal. We had that crossover back there, right? Yeah. So we don't need another one here. We can just come blissfully past this intersection. And of course, when we get past it, we will make our swap into these outer two lanes feature. I might actually do it sort of over here. And some of these. Yeah, that should be fine. How are we going for time? I guess we're kind of getting to the point of, I mean, we're just rinsing and repeating. It's probably a slightly shorter episode if I end it here, but this is the general idea of what I'm trying to do, and I guess we can probably, if I cut here and maybe show you at the end sort of what we've got to, I'll give you a fairly good idea, and hopefully we can have a bit of an overview of how well it's running. That might make more sense than just showing you exactly the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to pause here and see you soon. And welcome back. So this is our finished highway through Circuit Alley. 8 lanes in total, 4 each way. With both sides, basically, you can access the off-ramps only from the lanes, 2 lanes closest to those sides. Here. It's advanced this whole thing. We did have a couple of issues in it while we were doing it with some mis-signaling. That's always what happens when you muck around with rails in an important area. So, at least things like this can happen now, though, where trains do not get held up by trains wanting to turn in. They just keep flying on by. You're trying to go straight, okay. So this guy is getting to wherever he's going. Red circuits at quite a clip. With a bit of luck, we are back to decent numbers. Not really. I still don't know exactly whether it's... I know there's still bugs in whether I'm getting 1 train or 2 trains. I don't think I have an issue where I need to push these on, but actually pushing them on was part of what was causing one of the bugs, but I've got rid of that one, so pushing them on is now safe. There's nothing in here anyway, so that makes sense that that's not getting called. There should not be any rocket fuel, because we have tons of it. There isn't, at least. But yeah, this map's going to be very handy in helping me continue to debug even after we have finished our challenge here. So I guess I'm kind of keeping a version of it for that eventuality. This is actually quite a bit of time. There's no point trying to wait from this point until faster than light propulsion has finished. I could do another project like squish up the blue. The new stack I'll squish up because there's no reason this can't go hard against here. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with beacons when I squish it all up. That's perhaps the one and only thing. It might be worth having 1 extra row just so I can use beacons rather than medium poles. Or I'll just use medium poles. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but yeah, we're going to need to build one of these stacks. So the plan is we finish this, we turn off science as quickly as possible. I don't know how much I'm going to... I suppose I could basically... Oh, they're going to be full of stuff, aren't they? I suppose these intermediates, I should make sure all the science intermediates are not full of junk, so that I don't have too much stuff to pick up if I pick up any of these. 4.8k, well, it's too late on that one, so that lot's just going to get nuked. Purple doesn't do the intermediates. Yeah, I might run over and put caps on all these chests, so with a bit of luck they'll be relatively empty for me. I think that's the plan, but you guys don't have to see that so much. Thanks for joining me for this one. I think it's going to prove worthwhile, especially with the amount of circuits that we're going to need for the final push. We're very close to the end of science anytime soon, and we'll probably rejoin next episode at the beginning of that science push. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.